Okay, so let's just be real for a second. Finding friends as an adult is actually like really hard. It's so hard. I kind of just wanted to jump on here and have like a nice intimate conversation with you all and talk about 5 friendship tips that would have really helped me making friends as an adult. When you're in an environment like high school or elementary school or college or whatever you're at, it's significantly easier to make friends because you're forced to socialize with the same people every day. When you become an adult, the only people you're forced to socialize with could be coworkers or family, or maybe like your neighbors or people in your circle or whatever. That even decreases more so if you work from home or if you are not living near family or things like that. All that being said, it can be very difficult to find friends as an adult. So I noticed a lot of people will lower their standards of friendship because friends are so few and far to come by. But I wanted to share with you all 5 friendship tips that would have really helped me as a young adult while trying to figure out my friend group, also figuring out who you are as a person. These 5 tips would have helped me tremendously, and I honestly wish that another adult would have told me these things or that I would have figured them out sooner because it would have saved me a lot of time. Stay tuned for my last tip. It is probably the most important one. Tip number 1. I cannot emphasize it enough about how important it is to know who you are as a person. Know your likes, your dislikes, know your own hobbies, know your preferences. These things are so important so that you don't allow other relationships or friendships to define who you are as a person. That is how you create boundaries in relationships. That's how you decide what you're okay with, what you want to tolerate in your life, what's good for you and what's not. In order to know yourself, you have to do a lot of work. Go back to figuring out why you believe what you believe. Why do you think the way that you do? Once you figure those things out, you can determine whether you want to keep those character traits, remove them, alter them, or whatever. But you need to know where they are. We've all known those people who get in a relationship and then they completely flip and they're like a totally different person and you're like, man, like, what happened to you? A lot of the times, those people just don't know who they are, and when they meet someone else, it kind of will like take over who they are. No, all of a sudden they have different hobbies. All of a sudden they don't like to do these things anymore. All of a sudden they're never free. All of a sudden they don't respond. These are all like things that it's important to know because that too can happen in a friendship. Knowing yourself even goes down to like knowing your tics, your triggers, like things that caused you trauma, because you don't want to bring that baggage into other friendships. It's so important to not project that on people and then expect that everyone's going to understand what kind of person you are. They're not. So all that being said, once you know yourself, you need to know your worth. This is so important because there are going to be people in this world that come around because they need something. They want to be heard. They want support. They want all these things. But you need to know what you are worth as a person. Am I okay with this relationship? Am I getting what I'm looking for in a friendship? Am I giving what I'm expecting from a friendship? And know what you deserve out of that friendship. Don't just sit around and tolerate it because friends are minimal or it's hard to become friends with people or things like that. You don't want to compromise who you are as a person or the way you're being treated in order to keep certain friends. You really need to know your worth and respect it. Tip number 2 is intentionality and communication. As adults, we're all going to be busy. Some of us are married, some of us have families, some of us work full time, some of us are going to school. People are busy. In order to cultivate a friendship, you need to be intentional about doing that as an adult. If you're spreading yourself thin, having small talk and catching up on everyone's life, and you're not really being intentional about cultivating a strong relationship with a certain friend or friends, then your friendship is not going to grow. It's going to be stagnant or it's going to decline. And as an adult, you're going to get to a point in your life where you just don't really have time anymore for the small talk. You just don't really have the mental space, the emotional space to hear someone rant about their life and they never talk to you, but now whenever they're sad, they want to hit you up. Like, there comes a point where you're like, you know what? Like, I have things to do. I don't want to use my time to listen to you rant whenever you're going through, I don't know, a breakup or something. There comes a point where you have to draw the line. And if you are doing that for everyone, if you're becoming the go-to person and you're not being intentional about your own time, and who you want to cultivate relationships in, they will fall apart. That's something I wish someone would have told me earlier, and that's why it's an important tip number 2. Tip number 3, this is something that is really helpful when navigating friendships as an adult, and that is learn your friend's love language. So this doesn't necessarily have to mean like, oh, physical touch and words of affirmation. This is just also knowing their communication style, knowing their likes and their dislikes, learning about your friend's preferences, respecting it, and then getting perspective on it as well for yourself. It's just so important to really learn who you're dealing with and if that fits with you. Tip number 4 is, as an adult, life gets busy, stuff happens. It's important to be there for each other and everything, but it's also okay for there to be breaks and moments of silence in friendships. I know at a lot of times, especially when we're younger, if you don't talk to someone for a long time, it's like, oh, are we beefing? Are we having problems? Like, what's going on? But as an adult, you're gonna get busy at times, and there's gonna be moments where you may not talk for weeks or for days or for months or whatever, and you can still bounce back from where you are. Friends are not going to always be available as much as they were when you were in high school. Girls' night is not going to be every Friday night anymore. Like, life changes, you know? And it's something that would have been helpful, kind of, I guess, understanding more as a younger adult, because when I first started becoming, you know, friends with other adults, I was like, man, like, they're never free. Like, why can't we have these plans? Why can't we do all these things? And then I realized, like, man, I'm not free either. I have all these responsibilities to do now. Like, I'm tired. Like, regular things like that, and it doesn't define your relationship. Now, if you're never hanging out, that's a red flag. But if there's breaks in everything, life happens. The sooner people accept that, the better your friendships will be, because it's just a transition phase that is completely different from when you're in high school or college. So this is my last tip. Let people show you who they are. What I mean by this is, a lot of us have the tendency to give people the benefit of the doubt, or to be overly trusting, or honestly just be desperate to have friends because it's hard as an adult to meet new people. But I truly believe now, especially being in my mid-20s, that it's important to take things at face value. If a person doesn't communicate things to you, it's not my job to figure out who they are. If a person was rubbed the wrong way and they never tell you, it's not my job to search it out and realize what's bothering them today. You know, we're grown, we're busy, like, that stuff's done, you know what I mean? That being said, if you are constantly showing up for someone, but they're never showing up for you, or they always have an excuse every single time, like, that's that person showing you who they are. And you need to believe it. It's really hard to hear it because we love people. We really want relationships to work out. We want things to, you know, stay happy and good vibes and everything. But sometimes having a reality check is important for the sake of your mental health, and also to preserve your own energy and your time and everything. And it's important to just take things for what they are, you know? I feel like it was very different before when we were younger, because if people can't show up, a lot of the time it's because they don't have a ride, they don't have money, their parents won't let them. There's all these other barriers. As an adult, that is not the case anymore. Of course, people have responsibilities, but let people show you who they are through their actions, through their words, and through how they're showing up for you. People will show you who they are. It's important that you believe them. I really hope that these 5 tips help someone, because they would have been very helpful if I would have known them navigating adulthood. I hope it saves you time, and I hope that we spend 2025 reflecting and deciding what kind of friend that we want to be to people, and what kind of friends that we want to keep in our life, and which ones that we need to start cultivating more. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like this video and you want to see more, feel free to check out my channel. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what videos you want to see. All right, bye.